then that is
that's a good point.
That is the platinum puss concern.
Can we just all agree not to say platinum puss in here anymore with my mom in the room?
I think. Are we recording it?
Oh yeah.
Then I'm done. Just as long as we got it on the podcast.
Let me tell you, you guys are in for a treat today.
You should start a platinum puss podcast. That alliteration.
There you go, the triple P's.
Yeah.
That would actually. What's the triple?
Podcast.
Oh, the podcast.
Oh my God.
I'm just curious. Did that pick up?
Is that the first podcast part?
Yeah.
You have
it's
no
different because
idea
we've
what
been
I
sitting-
have in store for the Lynx ladies event.
I don't. Let's not talk about that. but
Queen Bee Queefin?
This is going the wrong direction
Queen
now.
Bee Queefin?
Remember in Bad Boys 2, we're going to take the platinum puss, the queen bee queefing, we're going to put them in this little box,
Right there.
and we're going to put that son of a bitch way down in the ocean.
You know what that box is called?
So we never figured it up again.
That's shit we don't talk about.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
Oh my God, this thing has been.
I think the
recording.
Queen Bee Queefin can go down in the ocean, but
Here, we're
You
good.
guys, I'm putting a
that
lot
sounds
of
like
those things in
that
box.
sounds like a movement. Queen Bee Queefin?
Yeah, it sounds like that's like a northwestern lefty thing.
What's the queefin?
Let's go ahead.
Wait, you don't know what that
Let's-
is?
No.
Today's episode,
Beglije learns what a queef
Hello.
Yeah, thank you. But my question is, you've got this group of friends and gals called the Lynx ladies. Mm-hmm. I've got to imagine you are also professional, but it sounds like you aren't professional at all. You guys have something. What is a Lynx, and what is your mission with the Lynx?
What do you mean we're unprofessional? We're definitely professional. We wear jackets, heels. We look good.
But you wore jackets for like a one time that Busy was in here taking photos. I've seen what.
What exactly is the Lynx for somebody who doesn't know?
It is a group of ladies that support each other, not only in cigars, but we were brought together through the cigar environment. That's how we all met, with our husbands coming in here. And we have just formed this unbelievable bond. And yeah, I mean, they've become ambassadors for us here at ICC. We make women feel comfortable coming into an all-male environment. We've educated each other, educated new ladies coming in by getting up, introducing ourselves, and just making them feel just like they're part of the family right away, instead of everybody sitting there just staring at them and they feel very uncomfortable. Because I've been in that situation where I've walked into cigar lounges where guys are just looking at me, where I'm like, okay, I know I look good, but like, you guys are making me uncomfortable, because obviously I probably am not in a woman's lounge.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep. Well,
Go
ahead.
I was just gonna ask, how big is it? Like, how many people?
we have 13.
Okay.
Yep. We're all the
Is there like
ambassadors.
a process to get in, or
It'll always be the 13 of us. The ambassadors, we're never going to grow that. These are the ladies that I felt each had a good quality about them. Each had a unique quality that brought something to the table with industrial cigars and Lynx cigars, business-wise, lifestyle. I mean, just a little bit of everything, their personalities. And when we get together, it just flows so well. Like, we just intermix so well. We all have different views on a lot of different topics, but we get along, and we can agree to disagree and still get along great. And then the cigar aspect, I mean, it's been fun. I mean, there's a couple girls who thought they would never smoke a cigar, and now when they come in, they go to the humidor, they pick out a cigar and glass of wine, and we sit and chat about life, about everything, and it's been very healing.
Where do you see that role? Because as probably the most important person of industrial cigar company, our family business, where we sit now and where we roll into our third year of business and growing and getting ready to the next.
Yep.
You have, it's like your thing with the Lynx ladies, and it's these great ambassadors who come together who will always uphold that. What do you see that as being the importance of that group into our business, of just having someone who wouldn't normally walk into a cigar lounge or wouldn't normally walk into our type of business? Where do you think the importance is there?
The importance, I think, with the group of ladies and where I see it growing is honestly on the support side, not just the cigar side, but honestly, this is just, somebody's going through difficulties in life, no matter what the event is, different challenges, but we're also there for people who are going through tough times that are not part of the Lynx ladies. So if there's a member that's part of industrial cigars and they're going through cancer or they're going through whatever, us ladies, we all just come together and we really try to figure out a plan at how to help that person.
Can we talk about that a little bit?
Yes.
Let's step back here real quick. Beglije Frakes, my mom, is here, and one of the co-owners. I'm sitting here with 2 business partners right now, which is pretty cool for me. And you say let's say a member has cancer. Walk us through that, because that's probably one of the most powerful and cool things that I've seen maybe ever, what you guys did.
Yeah, so when I reached out to the member that was currently diagnosed with cancer and reach out to the ladies, I say, hey, listen, we have a member and I feel like let's give him the best support. He's a man living by himself, and I'm like, he's got to eat well, and let's make sure that he is getting the best care for himself, where he can just focus 100% on his health. So what we did is we created a meal train, and every day somebody would make a homemade meal, and they would bring it up here at Industrial. It was during COVID, so we were very extra cautious about having random people come into his house. So we'd have a designated person drive every day to his house and give him a meal for him and his kids when they'd come stay with him. And it's been really good. We did that for about a month while he was trying to wrap his head around something very new that he had been diagnosed with. So this took a little bit of the pressure off of him. And all the ladies were so wonderful, because they're like, what does he need? Does he need a coat? We even researched food that would make you ill during cancer. And I'm trying to think, back from when my dad had cancer, it's like, okay, lettuce, just the little things like cut the veins out, because the acid in that really makes you more sick with the chemo. So we've all, reached out to other fellow people who are in nutrition, said, okay, focus on this, don't give him this, So he didn't really have any dietary restrictions, but we were looking out for him.
That's even to the next level of paying attention to what kind of food goes in. That's a community, and that is so incredible. And we say came down with cancer. It's stage 4 liver cancer. I think it's liver cancer.
Yeah.
Stage 4, 2 kids. It's the real deal. Jim Trader, and I hope Jim's watching this. We love you, and
Jim.
We know you're making your way through and fighting strong. And
he is a fighter. How many rounds? 11?
I think he just went through 10. I don't know if he started 11.
Oh,
but we are.
He is a fighter for sure.
He's a badass dude. He's a great guy, and to watch everyone come together with that was. I didn't even think about all the details that go into it.
It was just little things like the ladies were like, hey, does he need some kind of furry socks or slippers? Because when you get chemo, you get really cold. Does he need blankets? Does he need a jacket? Your body temperature really changes during chemo. You're freezing. I mean, it's like a night and day difference. So we all came together, and everybody was pitching in, going to Target, getting him a winter coat. So when he's out there walking his dog, he's not getting super cold during the time. This was during the fall time, winter time. So everybody's just been super amazing. That's my key takeaway with the Lynx ladies that I absolutely love, is that they're always willing to put their whatever issues aside to help the next person. No matter if they agree with something or not, they're there just to help out. And I think that's where the biggest difference moving on as industrial grows. people's birthdays and stuff, and they'll just go out of their way to make it like a little cupcake and be like, "Hey, happy birthday, George," or whatever. I mean, it's just been really, really wonderful. It's that attention to detail that that women's touch that guys notice, and they're like, "Wow, you guys don't really think about it, but we always like go the extra mile, and like we really want to make somebody feel special and unite with everybody."
I think there is a massive difference. You can see that in here, because if it was up to us, we want to have clean air, but you had a huge part in saying, if I can't sit in there and be comfortable, then we're just not going to do this thing.
Yep, that was my number one.
The woman's touch of that. How else do you see that in your life? I see it from your side of the business and making events extravagant and incredible, and that. How do you?
I actually see a lot of difference. I see more women in here. Probably we've tripled the traffic of women since the day we started. I think they all have this stigma when you say cigars. They automatically think disgusting tobacco, cigarettes, smoke, and that. And it's so different. So that's where I got educated through the family and through the reps on the art of a cigar. And I belong to this networking group that I just joined. And I've opened up their horizon. Women who just were like, "Ooh, cigars, really?" And actually a couple of them came in for ladies' night, and they had nothing but great things to say. And they were like, "Oh my God, the air was so clean." They couldn't believe how clean the air was. And I have stressed that on the network. Like, that was my number one. If I'm doing something with their family and I'm spending the majority time at work with you guys, I need to be able to stay in there longer than 5 minutes. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So,
and you have your own cigar.
I do.
You want it?
Yeah.
Okay, good. You remember this story? You remember how this came about?
No, I just know it was a unveil for my birthday, that you guys all wanted to do something special, and it was really cool.
This was pretty cool because it is the closest we've ever been to getting really sued. Was this, and we wanted to do a surprise with Edgar Hoyle. And so we did this deal, and Beglije, she goes by Queen Bee. Well, we made this cigar that was perfect, short little cigar, it's smooth, it's nice. And then event day, we get a cease and desist from one of the biggest.
It was like before the event?
It was like 2 hours before the event.
My birthday, yeah.
On her birthday. And it was going to be this whole surprise deal. So we did it, and the event started with lock the door, pull the blinds down. Edgar, who's a sawed-off little cholo, he says, "Listen, no one can take a photo of this. No one can post about this. This cigar never existed. We cannot let this out." And he said, because if that happens, we're all getting sued. And the people who are going to sue us are huge, because they had one little tiny deal, and this was a small project, and they went and tried to do it. So we've changed the name from...
Did you do any promotion? Like, how much promotion did you do?
We did one graphic, which told us we were doing the right thing from a marketing thing, because this big guy saw that graphic and went, "Hang on." So the fact that Carlitos Fuente saw our post and then put it through legal, went, all right, still they're paying attention. So for us, it was pretty cool.
Thank you.
And now this cigar is called the cease and desist.
New packaging in the humidor.
New packaging, yeah, exactly. It's pretty cool. One question that I'm curious about is, what was it like? Because I don't think anyone knows, but Go Local Group started in the slate room at your house.
Yes.
It started upstairs in this, like, I guess it's
little
a room,
nook.
just like a nook, where we just
It's like a hallway into the theater room. It's like what do we do with this?
It's like a drive-by
start an
room.
agency.
A drive-by room.
It's
Drive-by,
just a waste of square footage, to be honest. And we just took a table, one single table, 6 foot, that rose up, that the motors broke immediately. And Gabe stood on one side and I stood on the other side. And then Gabe started moving down. What was that like to you to see the creation of this? What were your feelings of what it was going to become? And then Gabe comes rolling in with with 2-foot hair.
The longest hair in Frisco. The minute I entered city
I
limits.
wanted to cut that hair from the day I saw it. I was like, who is this greaseball?
He's not gonna last.
No. I was like, what is this hippie? It was actually really, as a mom, obviously I was extremely proud. I know that anything that you would put your hands on, you would put 110, 1,000% into. You always do with the family, no matter what it is. So seeing that, where it was going to go, I did not know. It was going to get this big, obviously, for you, but I know you're a little bit of a perfectionist. I'd see your highs and lows from day to day and from starting a new business like most people. But you stuck with it, and super, super proud. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, everything just kind of goes together now, like with ICC, Go Local, Say Thank You, just my charity. Like, we all just have a purpose within our hexagon, and it just flows the way it's supposed to with the marketing and the personalization aspect that we add with Ale, your wife, that does all of our personalization. And it's just amazing. And I mean,
It's a good flow.
Yeah.
What was it like for you, Gabe?
It was interesting because I'm from like small town. At the time, I don't think we had a Starbucks. We didn't have a Chick-fil-A. I just remember, like, I didn't know you could
trailer.
Yeah, I didn't know you could spend that much money on Starbucks and Chick-fil-A in a month. It's like I thought you guys had a retainer with them. Yeah, I was like, that's why I really stuck with Go Local, was for the free lunches. But
there you go.
Yeah.
No, it felt very natural. I never felt intruding, but you took me. I mean, he was living there while his house was being built. I was still living in Kansas and had a couple, maybe a year or a little longer, where I was actually staying in your guest room and working there, and it was all kind of connected. And it was just that.
It was grind time, wasn't it?
It was grind. I mean, I literally was sleeping. So the theater room, you go up the stairs, and then there's our Go Local little headquarters, and then you go into another door, which is the theater room. In the back of the theater room, there's just like a 12-foot couch area. So I was sleeping there and could walk down the stairs into the office. I would like sleep till 9 and roll my ass out of bed. And
then we would work from about 9 until about 8 at night.
Yeah.
And there were, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, the most interesting, I think that stands out for me when you lived there, Gabe, was finding ex-girlfriend's underwears upstairs in the theater room when I was cleaning.
Did that happen?
Yeah.
Is that the first time you've heard that?
That might be the first time I've heard that.
Oh, I confronted you. You laughed.
Oh, okay. Well,
that was during your hippie days.
Thanks for taking care of that.
Yeah. Either that or my dog was going to run off with it.
The second or third week I was there, trip down, I tried to hang with the guys and drink a bunch of whiskey and smoke a bunch of cigars. And I remember in the middle of the night just waking up and projectile vomiting all over that giant cushion. And I remember I was like all over myself, and I took off all my clothes. I was like, oh my God, they're going to kick me out. I'm done. I'm toast. And I'm like butt naked trying to clean your cushion off.
Oh, wow. I'm glad we didn't have cameras.
Did you know that he threw up on the bed? Did I know he threw up on the bed?
You knew.
That's the first time I'm hearing
I didn't, when I brought that up, tell me. I don't know if you knew that, but you helped me in the morning. I was like, dude, I don't know what the fuck to do.
Did we strip that off?
Yeah, we stripped the like wrapper kind of thing the cushion was in, and then
did you guys sanitize it? Like with soap?
think we washed
We cleaned it
Okay,
hard.
no, it's jogging back to me. We did clean it off with a hose, and then we put it back on.
Very proud that you guys did that.
Yeah, but it's cool because now we're growing, and now we have, holy shit, we have an agency. Right? We have a team that we were able to manufacture. This is a complete far-fetched out of the deal, but it reminds me of when with Bezos was in a garage at his mom's house creating what would become Amazon, or it might have been Apple. It might have been Apple, but regardless,
yeah, we're close to that path.
But it gives us, I mean, it is really growth, and it's our own thing.
Yeah.
And it's a scary thing because you don't know what's going to happen when you start your own business, and you're sitting there, you're going, boy, I hope this works. The beauty with Gabe and with the support that you gave to us always was you made it so that failure wasn't an option, but it was, I don't know, we almost hedged our bets because we were just gonna keep grinding. We're gonna keep doing it because what are we gonna do? We're gonna go work for somebody else who's gonna tell us what to do so we can live in a 600 square foot apartment and hopefully make rent, that sort of deal. But because of it, we just continued to like grow and grind and grow, and it allowed us to work those days because you slept 15 feet away from the desk.
Yeah.
And I walked
Yep.
down the stairs and
With a newborn.
with a newborn. That's
I remember
right.
those days.
Yeah, we had
that
Jasmine, and then I put Alessia, and she was in that little rocker chair, and I would just like kick drum her.
Hallie, you mean?
Oh, I'm sorry, Hallie.
Hallie, your
And
dog.
we'd have the Doberman down there, and Alessia, and she would nap, and I would just kick her like a kick drum, and she'd just be in that chair. That's a trying time.
Yeah, that was.
Meanwhile, going through, it was at that time that we picked up Cheney, and we were working.
Yeah, that was kind of like the start, the catalyst, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of like really seeing actual growth. When we started, we were doing marketing. We like an all-inclusive marketing plan for $250 a month. Like, it's crazy.
Come to find out, that doesn't work.
No,
Yeah.
that's not very sustainable unless you're living in your mom's
Exactly.
or your friend's mom's.
Well, and at that same point, we were also starting this business. So all of that newborn, Cheney was huge for us. We had house, this whole deal, also building this. And
I think we surrounded ourselves with a lot of people who were very supportive. Even when we were down, like kicked down, where you just wanted to give up. I know there was times where, you got to that point, you're like, man, I'm grinding so hard. I'm working like 24/7. I don't really get to spend time with the newborn and Ale, but you kept going. And I know you leaned on your dad a lot for direction, and he's just such an amazing person. He's got so much experience. I feel like with everything we go through, it's like you can kind of lean on him because he's been there, done that, and wants to help anybody, even like Gabe or anybody going through
He's
stuff.
always
So-
kind of like our last step. It's like, well, shit, what do we do here?
Yeah.
Let's ask Dave.
It's
He's
like-
like the last filter you go through
Yeah, it's
before
kind of
making a
like,
decision.
you try to make it on your own, and then you're just like, okay, I'm going to blow up. Like, let me ask Dave. And then you ask him, and he just kind of walks you through all the steps. It's just really great to have that support.
yeah, I think that is just such a key element of starting your own business, is having someone that's a mentor that you can go through. And he's my dad, and I want to show him as a son, like, I can do this. And then there are times, and it's important whether it's a parent or a mentor, where you want to show them that
Yep.
you can do it. And then there are times where you're just like, help me.
Yeah.
Yep.
Help me see this from a different place.
Yep. You got that white flag out. You're like, I'm about ready to throw the towel in. And he's like, remember, he asked the right questions to make you realize why you wanted to do this in the first place. And then he just starts working from there. And then by the time you get done, it's like you just had the biggest like pep talk of your life with him, and all his funny analogies that he throws in.
Oh, we had
And-
like a whole book. Dave's,
I need to
Dave's
write a
quote,
book.
Dave's
Just-
daily quote.
Yeah. Yes.
For anyone that knows my dad, Dave Frakes, talk to him, and then please just write the quote that he gives you, because we're going to make a picture book just called Quote of the Dave.
Oh my
and
gosh.
And then just make it
Quote of the Dave, that's what it's
hundreds of
called.
pages long with just a quote and a photo of him.
There are
We're going to
some-
do that at some point. No, it's really cool. So, and how that all translates into this business is exactly what you were saying. Surrounding yourself with the people you want to be around that are going to make your life better.
Right.
But who are some of the people who you are surrounded by now who make an impact on your life? And what would you say is the most impactful people, to your sanity and to success?
The relationships that I have made with a few ladies, obviously the Lynx ladies is a huge part of it, but Carrie Himmel, if anybody knows her, she is an absolute amazing person. She is a go-getter. She puts all her effort into her work and her friendships, and she'll like if I get stuck with something, I'll call her and be like, hey Carrie, I'm like, I just feel like a failure. I think we've all kind of been there with our startup companies, and she's just like, hey, I've been there, done that, like, hey, let's, she just gives me the right thing that I need to hear at that moment to be like, okay, suck it up, buttercup, let's go to the next step. And so she's been, I don't know if she knows how much she's been such an influence on me, and I just respect her. I see her post all the time on social media, and I just admire her just eagerness to grow and to help others, and her support would say thank you from the beginning. She absolutely has been an amazing support of our business and of our growth through her business. So we work really well together, but as like a mentor, I look at her for, advice, and she's just been amazing and given that advice.
That's really cool. Yeah. And really a peer.
Yeah.
Who can grind your pace at your point of life, and continuously you have that person. Thankfully with our team, we see each other every day. So we want to outperform each other.
Right.
And because it grows everybody. So we're going that same direction. To have somebody to rely on that can give that sidestep.
Yeah, especially when you're working from home. You live there, you breathe there, you work there. It's just sleep there. It's everything. And it's like you get discouraged a lot, especially with the pandemic that happened last year. It was, literally the day we stopped getting orders, and it was a full year, like nothing. It just
that was
stopped
like that.
Because, our businesses say thank you to professionals. So I understood why our business halted, and trying to come up with other ways to, say thank you during a time where, everybody was down, everybody was closed businesses. So it was a tough time for us, but we bounced back recently. We started getting, just out of the blue, just our customers are coming back, and we're so thankful for that.
What were you going at there, Gabe?
I was just going to ask kind of what Say Thank You's up to now, because I've been kind of away from. We shared an office for a long time, and
Right.
you guys were doing
Right.
good then. But since the pandemic, I haven't heard too much about.
Yeah,
what you
we
guys are up
really
to.
slowed down, and it really got to a path where I was like, okay, do I continue doing this? Just mentally for me, I got in a really weird place with my anxiety, where I just kind of wanted to give up on everything and just kind of be in a hole. Luckily, I had great women to talk to and family to talk to and stuff. But I made the decision at that time. I have a partner, Beglije Frakes, my daughter-in-law, Brandon's wife, where it was the best decision that I made at that time, where Say Thank You is a laser engraving and custom gift basket company. I always lump them together. So I separated the two, and now she is a co-owner of laser engraving, and I am a sole owner of the gift baskets. So it has made a world of difference for me, where she has taken that role, and she has really just excelled at it. I let her just like spread her wings before she come to me for every question and stuff. She was afraid to make a mistake, and now she is out there. She flourished. I just let her just do whatever she wants.
I remember when I heard that she was doing that, because she left her kind of like 3D modeling, 3D.
She was a
Corporate
designer.
world.
Yeah, she was a designer at.
I remember when I
Chippendale.
heard that she was leaving that, I was like, damn, that's kind of a risk, because at the time you guys weren't.
It was very scary, because I knew I was 100% reliable for her income. So starting a new business, and then I was babysitting Alicia because she was in the corporate world. She was missing everything with her, and I know that was really painful for her. And but we got to the point where she could quit, and I said, okay, I'm doing this. Let's do this together. And then we made it a few years, and then during the pandemic, you really have to sit back and reflect what's working, what's not working in the company. And I think I did that. And I always try to take the burden on myself and not really bring a lot of people into it. I think that's a little of a pride thing. And also women like, hey, it's an all women business. I'm trying to make it happen. I want my husband to be proud. I want my kids to be proud. Want to be able to have my grandchildren have everything and stuff. So I just knew it just all came together at the same time as COVID, where I was just like, I can't physically do everything by myself. It was just too much mentally, physically, where I was just going to shut down, say thank you, and be like, Ale, you could just do whatever piece you want of say thank you. You could just have it. I was just done. But I had a year to reflect. And even with industrial cigars, I think I kind of went into that roller coaster where I'm trying to find my place. Because it is an all men's culture environment.
The toilet seat's rarely left down.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're exactly right. Yeah,
So-
but there's a female owner because the toilets are clean.
They're clean at least, yeah.
Yes. So full circle, everything a year later, I'm in a much better place mentally, physically, and just the steps I needed to take just to take care of myself and then take care of the business the way it should be and be able to let go of pieces and not try to be 100% owner on everything. Where I was just like, okay, I had the confidence in Ale. I just never really said it. I just kind of had it in my head, but now I'm just like, go. And I could tell she took a few baby steps and she'd kind of come back to me. She'd be like, hey, Bubba. I was like, Ale, do whatever you want, whatever creativity. You are an amazing designer, like so much more than I am. Just go. And she did.
That's such an important thing to, such a weight to get off somebody's chest. And like when you give that like overall ownership, like, hey, this is your world.
Yep.
This is you. I trust you. Take care of it.
Yep.
I mean, there's been so many times where we've had that conversation, people within our agency, which is like, hey, I
Yep.
trust you. Do whatever you think. You don't have
Yep.
to ask me for every question.
Right.
And a true leader has to have that humbling experience of, I've got to do it because I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to sacrifice myself. And there is that pivot point of, I'm not going to do it because I trust the people here and I'm going to help lead them.
Right.
Versus I'm going to do it myself and then hopefully it turns out, or hopefully I don't burn out like
Right.
like what you were going through last
Right.
year.
Everybody's afraid to fail and to become a failure. And I don't look at it. I used to, I think, look at it that way. That's why I felt like so much pressure on myself. And then once I was able to be like, hey, I'm not failing, I'm learning. It's a new business. There's so many obstacles you don't think about on the accounting side, on the wholesale side, on the repeat customers to get your, keep your business going and everything. So it's been, it was a very eye-opening experience for me. And now I just look at it as like, hey, it's not a failure. It's a learning curve. And it makes me stronger for the next step where I want say thank you to go. Mm-hmm. So.
You're pretty diversified too. You're not all your eggs are in one basket. So you have the freedom to say, hey, you run with this for a little bit. I'm going to focus on this other thing for a while. It's like a real entrepreneurial mindset.
It's been, like I said, it was the best decision I made. And I was forced to make that decision at the time because of COVID. And it was the best decision I have made yet with the company.
And it's cool because the company, because it was able to fly on its own, it flew a different direction in where the market wanted it to go. So now Ale, because she took off and there was a connection and a need with a cigar manufacturer, now she's producing thousands and ultimately she'll make tens of thousands of boxes that are completely unique that will reach this entire nation.
Yep.
And it's her design that she created and it's going to sustain and there are more people that'll come to it. But you would have never thought to go, now let's start making boxes.
Right.
It was all engraving. But because you just went, just go where you think it should go.
Yep.
Then it all just started working. It took its
that
own
truly
path.
was her idea with the boxes. She's like, hey, this machine can cut, so let's make our own boxes. And yeah, she designed everything and measured everything. I mean, it's such a tedious process, but once she got the template, I've had a lot of people ask me about the boxes, if they can buy one or one of Edgar's. They're like, that is really cool. And I was like, well, Ollie made them. They're like, whoa. They're like, are those for sale? I said, no, they're not. They're, specifically for this rep. And so she has been just a huge asset. I think sometimes she's like in the background where nobody, she's not in the spotlight, and I know how that feels sometimes, especially with industrial, like the cigar world. I think I went through that where I just felt like I was like way in the back seat, and it's just like, my husband and my boys are running this thing, and it's just like, oh, her back there, oh, that's okay. She just makes it clean. That's all right. But now I understand, like, huge credit to her. Like, I could not do this physically by myself without her. We work together on the industrial side for the cigars and for the Say Thank You. Like, amazing. Like, we found our rhythm. And that's so important when you are in a business, in a partnership with somebody, to find that rhythm. Because when you are not on the same page, and then you guys are just, you feel the energy off of each other. Like, I know she could feel my energy when I was off, and then when she's off, and it's like, okay, there needs to be a change. I didn't know what that was until the pandemic. And then I was like, okay, I'm holding her back. I'm holding myself back. Let her fly. And she is just unbelievable where she's taken it.
I'm kind of curious with, because you guys are so intertwined, the whole family, and not just in ICC, but in Say Thank You and other opportunities. But like, what is kind of the power dynamic like? Do you guys like kind of have power struggles where somebody where you disagree? And then it's funny because like when Brandon and I have a disagreement, we get to go sleep in different beds. But when you disagree with your husband and your wife, and you how do you separate the business from the family? And instead of like, is there any kind of grudge holding? Is there anything that happens?
No, not really. I mean,
because from the outside it looks like everything's running smooth, but I'm sure there has to be some sort of.
Well, and you saw it. I don't want to step on you, but you saw it because at the beginning of the year, we all get together and just have this big grill the beef session and run through everything for many hours. And I think it goes to what you were saying, Beglije, which is make sure you have people on the same wavelength, sharing the same purpose. So it doesn't, since we've been open now 3.5 years, I personally can't think of a time where we had this power struggle between people, or why are you doing this, or that's me, or that's, don't step on my yard type of deal. I feel like,
I don't think, I agree. I don't see that within our family, because I think your dad and I, did a pretty good job on the core of our family, the way we operate. We do our family meetings to kind of put everybody in perspective. And like you said, if somebody's ego gets big, we kind of bring them back to a humble place. I mean, it's happened even with myself. You all of a sudden you think you're the shit, and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, I needed my family to tell me, like, slow your roll.
I think we're very blessed just with our family.
Yeah.
I think you guys just did such a good job of raising and setting the tone for the family that grudges are not allowed. No one's gonna.
If one gets in trouble, they all get in trouble. Everybody sits down. So everybody learns the lesson at the same time, and that's been very huge. Until this day, we still do that. Yeah. Even with the businesses, if we have a disagreement, we feel like you could do a better job, or we feel like a person is slacking in a certain area with whichever business. We have a family meeting, dinner, and everybody's like, check your ego at the door. Let's have an open discussion without your feelings getting hurt. And let's work together as a family how we can fix that and improve, and we all can learn from it together. And I think that has been the key with our family, that we're so tight knit, and then we literally can put our egos at the door, even if we're having a bad day. I mean, we all get snippy and stuff, and have the resting bitch face that I've known to have. But
and that's my job to call it out.
Yep, that is Brandon's job to call it out. But it's been. I think we all do a pretty good job of that, and we try not to forget what the purpose of this whole journey is with our family. So we always have somebody there to kind of be like, hey, Check it.
Pay attention.
Yep.
Look it up. Look
Yep.
up. Bap,
Smile when you're walking.
That's it. Figure it
Yeah.
out.
There's a lot of that. I see a lot of
Step
that.
it up.
Smile when you answer the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny because you guys don't totally hide that either. I like
No.
that when you guys call each other out in front of your like clientele sometimes. It's like, hey, what the fuck are you doing right now?
Yeah.
And you let people know that you guys are holding each other accountable.
Yep.
I think it's
Yep.
cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why people really gravitate towards the company or towards the lounge and the community that's built, because they know who our family is when we got kicked out of every other business in every other cigar lounge in the area, because the cigar lounge was the house. And you learn a lot about people when you're in their house and when you're around, and because you lived in the house, so you can see the dynamics. But we are the same. I'm sure we're slightly different, but the experience when we're all together is basically identical as when we're here. Mm-hmm. And we do expect the same when we're not here as when we're all in the building together. I think just being true and honest with each other is very helpful.
Yeah, and we hold each other accountable for sure for anything that goes right or wrong or indifferent. So
it's really interesting, and it's our family. But I don't know how much you know, Gabe, but Begley's upbringing was, I don't know how much you know about her past.
I think she grew up with like goats and Middle East.
Oh yeah, close.
Middle East. She's
the
Middle
Middle East.
Eastern.
Wow.
No,
okay.
but your upbringing was substantially different. Right now, you gave us the wings to go do whatever. You always taught us, love what you do because you're going to spend, and you taught me that, love what you do because you're going to spend more time working than you are at home. You're more on than you are off. So you gave us the wings, but that's also a different world than what you're from.
Right. I think I was given a parameter of what I can achieve, and everything else was going to be planned out for me,
including your husband.
Right. And
you don't know
I
that,
didn't know
right?
that, no.
She was set up in an arranged marriage.
Yep.
And you married?
No, I did not. No, I did not. So that's a whole nother chapter of a podcast. But
yeah,
long story short, I stayed true to myself, and I fought for every single little thing that I wanted to do, which is the simple things like go to work.
And which is something you had to lie about, right? You had to. When you were at Panasonic, were you?
No, I didn't lie about it, but I had to go get a car. They weren't going to give me money. I had no money. So I went to my sister's restaurant. I waitressed to save $500 in tips and went to a car dealership and just bought whatever I could, with a down payment, and got the job at Panasonic through a temp agency. And then I remember my mom and dad telling me, like, where do you think you're going? And I said, I'm going to work. And they were like, you can't leave this house. And I'm like,
what was the alternative? You weren't supposed to work? Like you were too young? Is that what the problem was?
No, they, different cultures. I mean, they have different way of upbringing, and it all makes sense to me because I was part of that world. I know someone outside looking in, they're like, oh my God, like, you're always being told what to do and you have to do it, and I was given a lot of that, like everything was planned out for me. And I was just like, no, I'm going to work. I just put my foot down, and then the rest is history.
What kind of backlash did you get from that?
Not a lot of support. You can't do it. I'll give you a week. They would just make comments like that, and it was just very unsupportive environment. I mean, I love my parents to death. I mean, don't get me wrong and stuff. It's just when you're brought up in a culture, you don't take into consideration just your kids' feelings. I think you take more in consideration what's surrounding you, what people are going to say, the image. So that becomes bigger than what your kids' wants are. Mm-hmm. So it's very different in a cultured world. It's not uncommon. I think a lot of people just don't talk about it anymore. But I was born in America, and I'm just like so blessed to be here. And I just knew what I wanted in life. And I was like, surely there's something bigger than me just getting married and having kids, popping out kids. And I think that's why when I met your dad, I was in a very difficult situation where I had to pick a path. And the path that I chose was strictly to appease my father because he was dying from cancer. Going through a week of how that felt after I made the decision of, being arranged, I just knew that wasn't me. It was a very dark place in my time.
So that was still there when you and Dad were talking.
Yep, we were just strictly friends, and he knew that, and he knew from the get-go. I was like, hey, we're just going to be friends, like nothing more. Like, don't even, go there. So
Dad's a salesman.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, challenge accepted.
And that's
ring, ring.
I'm gonna make that for my wife.
Yeah. No, it was definitely different, but anyway, fast forward. I think that's what made me, and different ways with the kids, the way I helped raise you guys is I always wanted you guys to go to your full potential, because I was always being held back and tell me I can't do this, I can't do that. Not because I was a woman. Well, kind of, yeah, a woman in our culture, it's very common. Guys get to do a little bit more, but
isn't as much as if there's a boy, like a 13-year-old boy in the family, the mom still rides in the back seat because
some cultures, it's not our culture, but there are cultures that, they show that as sign as a respect. But it's also the hierarchy of the men to become, where they're going to be at, and they're kind of like the dominant person in the household. So.
And what we saw and why we gained so much appreciation, even when we were younger, or something that I probably grasped first as the oldest boy, was when you came. I was probably just old enough to understand when you came to live with us in Omaha out of Chicago, and you showed up to the house with enough clothes to maybe last. I don't know if you even showed up with that. But
yeah, I don't remember.
It was... All I know is the memory that I've painted and instilled in my head was one that was probably more dramatic than it really is. But all I know is I didn't meet your mom until...
I was 40.
You were 40, and you moved when you were 23. So she's 23. Oh, maybe you were a little bit older than that when you moved.
No, I was older. I think I was 26.
You were 26.
Yep.
Helping now raise 3 boys that were 9, 10, 11 years old. And... yeah, so it would have been, I didn't meet your mom for 14 years.
Right.
And Dad Nathan met your brother, and the first thing he said is, go inside and get my shotgun because I'm going to shoot these guys. It was, so it's a different change, but we got to see that stuff. So when we talk about family, that's family. Like, family means something more than that. And when it comes to a family business, I think why there's no question of the power struggle is because we understand the sacrifices Beglijes made. We understand the bypass of normal world and normal life of having her own children and going through the process and doing that has been bypassed to invest 100% in us. And it's our responsibility as the second, we are the first generation to great parents. Now, that means no disrespect to Grandma Mickey and Grandpa Mike. They're salt of the earth.
Right.
But it's a different thing of you leaving your family and being cut off from your family. And there was a long time, maybe your mom, your sister spoke to you still, but you were essentially an immigrant, basically fleeing to our family and seeing where Dad grew up to watching his grind. Now we're the first generation of that, where it's our duty to keep everything together and start the generational greatness. And it's a huge weight that I bear and my brothers bear of instilling those lessons to our kids. so it doesn't get lost in there. And that's what's scary, to be honest. If we talk about business ownership and building a brand, it's really easy right now because we have a great offering, we have a great community, we have a great business that works, and we have perspective of the world and watching growth and doing it. It's scary as shit to think how we're going to make this outlive us. And I don't know how to do that yet. I don't know how. We'll see that in our next location.
I don't think we need to make that decision now. Everything happens for a reason. You know, you make plans, God laughs and changes them, and, you know, you got to just roll with the punches.
Yeah, that sounds like the quote for the...
That might be a good sign off.
That's solid. Yeah, well, I think you're right. I think that is a good sign off.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for helping us start our agency.
Thank you.
So if somebody does want to learn more about Say Thank You, the Lynx ladies, everything
absolutely.
you're in.
You can go on Instagram and follow Say Thank You is hashtag Say Thank You. It's with the letter U at the end. And then Lynx Ladies, it's actually Lynx Cigars. So you can go on there and follow us. And just a bunch of fun ladies.
Don't say it.
The Platinum